Hello, everybody. Hello, and good evening. Welcome to E2E, Experts to Experts. Okay, and today is our first show, and it's my privilege to introduce you right now, to welcome you right now, and thank you to allow me to come in your office, to allow me to come in your house, to allow me to come wherever you are. So please do me a favor, drop down in the comments wherever you're watching us. If you're watching us from Facebook page, if you're watching us from LinkedIn or YouTube or Twitch or Periscope, wherever you're watching us from right now, drop down a comment and tell us where you are watching us from, which part of UK, which part of the world are you watching us right now. And it's my privilege. I'm so excited. This is a dream coming true. And I'm so excited to introduce you our first guest of our show, Expert to Experts. Okay, this show is being designed to bring you the world's best experts, and especially in a time like this, we need to feed our minds, we need to equip ourselves, and we need to model. If somebody else has done something in an amazing way and has had success and is an expert in an area, we should learn from them, we should challenge ourselves, and we should allow ourselves to expand. So do me a favor, click down and put down on the comments hashtag live if you're watching E2E live right now, or hashtag recording if you by any chance you are watching the recording. And if you are passionate about what we're going to talk right now, I would like you to click on the button, share it, and distribute, spread the word. Let other people also be aware of what's going on and what we are sharing with you right now. So be a blessing, be a force for good, and share it with everybody. If you've got your team members in your company, share it with them. If you've got your colleagues, your children, your family, share it, and let's spread the word. Okay? So as I'm waiting for other people to join in and drop down the comments, I'm so happy to introduce you my guest of today. And he's not only just a simple guest, he is my mentor, he is my coach. And when you do coaching, you build a relationship for the success of your clients. So what happens? Automatically, you create a relationship. So I have also the privilege of calling him my friend. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome on the stage, Mr. Rich Waterman. There we go. Welcome, Rich. Glad to see you.
Oh, thank you, my friend. What an introduction, eh? Well, let's make sure that we deliver an hour of content to match the quality of your introduction. Really looking forward to it tonight.
Absolutely, absolutely. So excited to have you right now in our office and with us and serving so many people. Okay, so Rich, me and you, we know each other because you have been working for several times in the past years, and your service and your added value have been a milestone for me to progress and do what I'm doing right now. So if I'm serving so many people right now, it's also definitely because of your help and support. But please, would you like to introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are and how come you're here and talking about wealth and how to create financial wealth? Thank you, Rich.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, so it's an interesting journey actually in many ways, and I'll take everyone back just to sort of school and university times. I was lucky to be like kind of the smart kid in school, and I definitely associated a lot of my self-worth with the results I was getting at school, and thankfully I was good at it. It wasn't necessarily a particularly healthy relationship, and that'll probably be another session. But coming out of university, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and so I thought, oh, do you know what? I'll choose to go into something competitive and well paid, and I happened to choose investment banking, even though I didn't know a lot about it, if I'm honest. And I was very fortunate to land a job with an investment bank called Chase Manhattan Bank at the time. We later went on to become JP Morgan Chase, as it's now known. And highly competitive environment, big numbers, big money floating around. And you kind of started to get used to it. And I think at that point, I hadn't really made the link between providing value and earning money It was just like, I've got this job, I'm good at it, I'm earning a lot of money. And you almost, the good thing about that environment is you get very, very comfortable being around large amounts of money. And even though investment bankers maybe not got the best reputation, some of it deserved, what it is really is providing a service, actually on a percentage basis, a very, very good value service. Just the amount of money flying around is huge. So you just get used to millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions floating around. I think the highest amount of money I ever helped the bank make on one deal was £11 million in one day. And as a banker, obviously you start off on a decent salary, decent graduate trainee salary, and very quickly you're moving into sort of six figures plus in terms of salary and bonuses. So you almost start to get a little bit immune to it in some regards. But that was a good start for me in terms of like my relationship with money. And some people out there, I think the number one thing message I would want to get across initially is money is just money. Like, so money originally came about to evolve a bartering system from medieval times where people would swap, grain for sheep or pigs for corn or whatever. So you have to remember that the money is just a representation of value. It just happened to be I was working in an environment where I was highly valuable and adding a lot of value to our customers, and so we would get paid for it, and then I'd get paid for it. So one of the things I notice consistently is that people that are wealthy generally have a very good relationship with money. They attract it, and they also keep it. And I also met numerous people who are not good at attracting money. In fact, they push money away. And some that are also not good at keeping it. Once they've got it, they'll spend it because they don't want to keep it. And so
how was the relationship? Because I'm reminded, and let me tell our audience that you are one of the youngest vice presidents of JP Morgan, and by the age of 30, you were already a millionaire. So what was your relationship with money?
Yeah. Well, initially very good, because I was fortunate to be very good at the job, and I liked sort of solving problems, which basically is what I was doing, working in the derivatives area, and then eventually becoming head of European derivatives. And so I was like, I'm good at this, I'm getting rewarded for it. And then things change a little bit. So just after you mentioned, just after becoming a millionaire at 30, at 31, I went through a divorce, because as well as all the owning lots of money in banking, I was also super stressed, very unhappy, not really myself at weekends, definitely not evenings at home during the week, like just trying to survive, really. So went through a pretty messy divorce when I was 31. I had 4 kids at the time as well. And you know what, looking back on it, I'm on good terms with my ex-wife now, and it's just like, do you know what, I don't blame you at all. I was pretty grumpy. And my brain then formed a link between divorce / pain linked with money. And I remember very clearly, after I got divorced, making a promise to myself saying, I don't want a lot of money anymore. Or I don't want a lot of money coming in anymore. I just want enough so I can earn enough to pay the bills, have a couple of holidays, look after the kids. That was it. And I created that. Very quickly. And I remember after I joined the Tony Robbins environment, when I was a participant initially, I stood up at the start of 2007, so about 5.5 years after my divorce, and I told a story about creating a life where I didn't want a lot of income, but I was happier, and I was, and I got a big round of applause. And then I went, unfortunately, I'm earning the money that I need in a day and a half a week, and the other 5.5 days, I'm not doing anything, and I'm bored out of my skull. So it was that moment that I realized that, there wasn't a reason to hate money. There wasn't necessarily a reason to love money. Money's very useful, right? Having a lot of money having not a lot of money is probably just really a magnifier for people's personality. Mm-hmm. So, you can say, I know lots of sort of rich people that are evil and selfish, and you know what? Yes, there are. But equally, you look at some of the people who are very, very wealthy people that are creating charitable foundations, really trying to change the world. So I think money's a magnifier. So having a lot of money is good, because gives you choices, and if you're a good person, you're going to go back and help others with the money. And equally, you know, I'm very fortunate not to be in a position where I've been poor, but I have been in positions when I've changed careers where I've not had a lot of cash flow, and that's horrible because that keeps you awake at night. That causes you stress. That you start the old monkey brain, limbic brain starts kicking, and you don't really perform very well when you don't have a lot of money. So I know what it's like to be in those stressful situations too. And personally, I'd much rather have an abundance of money because then I can make choices. And particularly when I make the link of I'm not just pursuing money for money's sake. What I'm doing is I'm thinking about who can I serve, who can I genuinely help with the skills and talents that I've got. So then I can serve them with a lot of value, and in return, I get rewarded with money. And then I can choose what I want to do with that money. I can go and spend that with another coach or on other things to help myself. And so the economy, yeah, everyone benefits from that sort of upward moving economy, really, which is, yeah, I know we were going to talk about COVID at some point, but that's kind of the opposite of COVID, with everything being shut down. Obviously, there's less opportunities for people to exchange value because there are just less things going on. So that has a negative impact. And you can see the downward spiral that's going on, been going on since March last year as well. So that's kind of a bit of an intro, Moses, in terms of, you know, just what if I was listening to this video, what would I be picking out from that? It would be, do you know what, money, your relationship with money is up to you. Don't make it.
Sadia has just written an amazing comment. Thank you, Sadia, for participating. So grateful like that. And she's saying so important to have a good relationship with money. So exactly what
absolutely. Absolutely. So I know Sadia actually. So Sadia and I used to work together. So Sadia's Sadia be a great example of this actually. So Sadia used to work with a friend of mine, Nick Stammers, until Sadia's gone off to become a great coach as well. And Sadia's background in corporate was she was amazing at sales. And you know, sales is the reason that she was good at sales is because she understood that I need to understand that what I'm selling is of value to the customer, and that they go, yes, you know what, this thing is easily worth the money that I'm going to pay for it. And if I feel that way, I'm going to buy it every time. And Sadia actually works with people now on like the understanding the mentality of sales, which really is understanding the mentality of money. So I'll give her a shout out to my friend out there. Thank you for the input on that one. It's just like, just understand that money is a value exchange. So if you want more money, then you just need to provide more value. And one of the ways of doing that is just letting more people know what you do and allowing them to choose whether they want to work with you or not, or letting more people know about the product you have and helping them to decide whether that's a good thing for them to buy or not. Yeah. What I think COVID has done is it's pushed out. Look, economies go in cycles; they expand and they contract. COVID has caused a big contraction in the economy, but it's a natural thing anyway. It's like the economy will get bigger and bigger and bigger and grow to a certain point where you actually get a lot of people in the market that are, without being too disrespectful, kind of fat and lazy companies or people in the industry or sector where you don't really necessarily have to be that good to make money. What COVID has done is contracted the economy, and I've got some clients who are unable to run their business because they're not legally allowed to, and my heart goes out to them, and they've had to either use savings or look at other ways to do things. But what it's done for the rest of us, I think, is it's harder to make money, I think, just generally, because there's just less opportunities. But those are people that can stay in the market and stay fit and healthy and get leaner and get more efficient. You're actually can definitely sustain the income from pre-COVID, which is what I've done. You can do what my cousin's done, where he's actually massively grown his business through COVID. I've got another client that's done the same thing, had a record year in 2020. But they've done that through really thinking about what am I great at, who could I work with, refining the offer, getting better at providing value, and talking to the right people about whether that value will be useful for them, and then getting money in return. So what happens is the market gets shaken out, and then the what's left is leaner and fitter. So when the market now expands post-COVID, those that are still in the market are going to be in a great position to actually make a lot of money, because there'll be more people looking for what they do, and you'll be better at communicating what you do. You'll be better at what you do, and you're probably your pricing's better as well. Like for me, what I found was that a lot of my kind of middle market customers kind of got shaken out a little bit because they were being squeezed financially. And I've ended up working with sort of a higher bracket of customer. So again, this might come back to another mistake that people sometimes make, and I've made it in the past as well, which is I'm not making as much money as I'd like to. Oh, my price is too high. Let me go on a price war and keep slashing my prices, try and become the cheapest out there. And what you end up doing is just spiraling down and working with low qualities of clients, and you're not really working at levels that you feel happy with anymore. You're not valuing your own value. What I found is that I've actually moved to a higher level of customer who are probably in a more position to be more robust because they've got savings, they've got other streams of income. And so actually, I would say my average, I don't normally look at hourly rate for coaching, but if I did, my hourly rate of coaching has gone up during the period of COVID, because those are customers who are currently willing to pay. So it is thinking about who can pay for my coaching right now. Yeah.
I don't know what about you guys, but I'm taking notes. I speak every week with Rich, but every time there's always some more value. So I've written 2 goals. So it's good to ask a couple of questions like, what am I great at? And who out there can pay? So Rich, do you believe that right now in 2021, with what's going on with all these shutdowns and everything, it's still possible to create wealth? Do you believe that?
Yeah, and I've seen multiple evidence of it. So I've got three people that I talk to on a regular basis who had record years, and by record I mean like a big 2020, like significantly higher than any previous year. It's just thinking about, given what's going on, where is the money? So one of the things that I've come back to a lot, and on Thursday when we do the workshop and the Q&A, which I know you're going to mention later, I'm going to take people through my version of a reasonably well-known tool, but I've adapted it for more of a workshop setting. And the tool's called Ikigai. It's a Japanese tool called Ikigai. And in that tool, you think about 4 circles that all overlap, and then basically in the center is kind of your perfect thing. And what you just mentioned is exactly that. So in 2020, and definitely moving into 2021, the first circle is what you're passionate about. Now, I've changed that slightly to what are you aligned with, so therefore, what are you passionate about? But if you want to stand out, because there's more competition, to earn money is generally, I think, probably harder, is like, how are you going to stand out? And by the way, a lot of people have given up, so that's already improved your chances, because people are just gone, can't earn. They told themselves, I can't earn money, right? So they dropped out, so that's good for you if you're still in the game. If you're being you, bringing more of you to your business, like bringing more personality, more warmth, more embracing the relationship with the customer more, that has to be a good thing. So passion circle of Ikigai is important. And then strongly related to it, and in our business modes, as you and me, coaching, speaking, mentoring, etc., these first 2 circles are strongly overlapped. So the second circle is, what am I great at? So pre-COVID, you could probably earn decent money not being particularly good at something, and also not being that passionate about it. I think right now, for you to earn really good money, you've got to be really passionate about what you're doing, and you've got to make sure you're doing stuff that you are great at. In fact, I would actually change that to extraordinary. What are you extraordinary at? And just focus on that. Because very few people can compete with extraordinary. And I'm still using the word compete a lot, because that's kind of a good reference frame for people. Like, I can understand that there are people out there, and I'm competing for customers. I would actually encourage you more during COVID and beyond is actually collaborate as much as you can, as opposed to compete. Look for collaborations. Because the reality is, if you look at the number of coaches in the world right now, just using our industry, there are more than enough customers for all those people. It's just that, so any coach that's out there promoting coaching, you should be cheering them on, because what they're doing is raising the awareness of the benefits of coaching. And so more people go, yeah, I should get a coach. There are more than enough people for every coach to have a great business, because you know what, to build a decent coaching business, if you've charged the right amount of money, you only need 10, 15, maybe 20 clients max. There are more than enough other people doing other things in the world where every single coach could actually have a really good business.
Yeah.
The third circle, which I think is one of the most important ones, particularly in this current environment where some people are feeling financially stressed, is what do people need? So again, in the past, you see a lot of people pushing services and products because they think it's a really good service or product. And I think that it's putting the cart before the horse. What you need to do is to go, right, let me go out there and look at what's going on in the market right now and what do people need. So we've got I'm sorry I can't pronounce your names, it's in Bulgarian, but someone's asked a question about Milena, yeah? How sharing tips about how to become a millionaire. So Milena, if I was going to share one tip about how to become a millionaire, it's this. And it relates to this circle. So my mentor, Keith Cunningham, who's an amazing business coach, amazing at growing businesses, selling businesses, anything to do with business. He's got a very simple formula, and if you follow this formula, you will become a millionaire as long as you stick with it, which is find out what people want, which is the third circle of Ikigai. What do people need? Find out what people want, go and get it, and give it to them. Most people are quite poor at finding out what people want because they just think, oh, I'm really good at this, so I'm just going to push that out there and people will buy it because it's good. It doesn't really work that way. You need to work out what do people want. You actually probably need to sell to what do people want and then give them what they want, so you deliver on your promise, but also give them what they need. Selling to what people need is quite hard because it's not always sexy. Find out what people want, go and get it, give it to them, and then give them what they want, give them what they need. If you can do that on a consistent basis, you will become a millionaire. Richard Branson does this all the time. He's constantly looking at what do people need. In fact, he's looking at what do people need where they're not being serviced very well. So that's why he went into the train industry, why he went into planes, why he went into banking, because he saw there was an opportunity where they were not being served very well, in his opinion. And mostly he's had, not always, but as mostly had very, very good success. And all Branson does is he goes in there, finds out what people need and goes, do you know what, that's not really being served very well at the moment. Let me go and get it and give it to them in a way they've not experienced before. So it's often about how you do it as much as what you are doing. So you don't need that genius idea to be a millionaire. What you need to do is to meet people's wants and needs in a way they've not experienced before. The fourth thing that I said, by the way, is will people pay? So sometimes people have a need or a want, but do you know what, it's not important enough for them to want to pay for it right now. So I think during COVID, these last two circles are massive. Like, really make sure that you're tapping into what people want and need, because otherwise right now, with a lot of people, when money's a bit tighter, they will be very careful what they're spending the money on. So that's the fourth circle, which is you want it to be a big enough need that people are going to pay for it. So again, big mistake in our industry that I see, Moses, is people trying to sell high volume, cheap products when actually they haven't got a very big list or following yet. That's because they think, oh, it's easier to sell a cheap product. It's really not, because what you end up getting is you end up working at the low quality end of the market. And so in my opinion, it's just as hard to sell a low quality product to a low quality person. I don't mean that in an offensive way, but just like someone that doesn't have the standards yet. I've personally found it's much easier to sell, say, a high ticket one-to-one coaching, thousands, tens of thousands of pounds, if not hundreds of thousands of pounds. Sell one of those to a high quality person is easier than selling thousands of products at, $10, $20, $50, whatever. So don't think that cheaper is easier. In my opinion, if you go cheap, you've got more competition. If you go high price, high quality, high customer service, high customers, there's less competition, which is very much how my business has moved in the last year. I could talk forever, but we've got a question from Topka there. I can see that's just come up. Yeah, that's a good one. Shall I answer that one?
Yeah.
Well, do you want to read it out for the audience, Moses? Just so.
Yeah, and then just to pre-frame to the
Yeah.
audience who's watching us, we have a special gift for this month. Okay, this month we are allowing to have on Thursday at 7 UK time a Q&A with our guests that will be there on Monday. And from the month of March, Thursday will be closed to a limited number of people. I will tell you more later. So if you've got other questions, if you want and we are able to answer them, great. If you're not able to answer them, those will be the first things we will answer on Thursday, 7 p.m. Go ahead, Rich, please.
Yeah. So, and remind me, I'll come back and talk about why I think what you're doing with the E2E is so important. I'll talk about that towards the end. So Topper's question is, what do you do when your business has been badly affected by COVID? What can business owners do? Okay, and this is basically what I've been spending my time since March last year, is working with business owners to make high quality decisions. So one of the biggest challenges with COVID is that it was such a sideswipe, such an event or series of events that we've never experienced before. Probably some of the Asian countries have had some reference to it because of some of the previous epidemics like SARS and things like that. But certainly in the UK, like, this is unprecedented. So we've never seen it before. So the first thing actually to do is to improve the quality of our thinking. So it's actually what a lot of work I'm doing with business owners is moving them out of panic/fear mode into a where we call it the monkey brain or the limbic brain. It's just basically just agitated and wants to be calmed down. You can't make very good decisions from there. We tend to make very impulsive decisions from that space. We tend to make very fear-based decisions from that space. So the first bit actually is getting to a point where you've actually got genuine choice and you're actually thinking through what your options are. And generally what I've found there have been a number of sort of clear pathways for businesses that I've identified over the last few months since sort of March last year. So the worst case scenario would be what we do, we cannot do during this current period, and the skills and ability within the business are not easy to apply elsewhere. So actually what we need to do is to shut everything down and minimize expense. And that is actually a legitimately good thing to do. Particularly if you've got like a hospitality business, for example, in this year, yes, you got a few grants and loans from the government, but it's not near enough to keep any reasonable sized business going. So most businesses I know in that area just closed down. So you shut down, you minimise expense. You've used the furlough scheme in the UK to basically hopefully get a number of your employees still to get some sort of income. But unfortunately, there have definitely been cases where people have gone, look, even then, I'm actually going to have to make some people redundant. It's a horrible thing for people to do. But actually, ultimately, what you're doing is giving people the opportunity to go and earn money elsewhere. So by the business owner shutting that business down, what that, of course, then does is once that is managed and dealt with, and they also have a plan for what am I going to do as regulations change, they then got time, opportunity, and often wealth left to actually go and do a different business. And that might be a business they keep going even when COVID stops and we can go back to normality, whatever that is. But a lot of what I've done with businesses like that is what do we do under different circumstances? So if the lockdown is eased a bit, what's our plan? If the lockdown stops completely, what's our plan? So they are very, very clear. It's almost like a flow diagram of like, if this happens, we do this. If that happens, we do that. If that happens, we do that. So they've already planned in advance what their decision-making process is. So that's kind of worst case scenario. And as I said before, it's heartbreaking for some business owners. They've had employees that have been with them for a long, long time. And it's, what, you're better off if you I've seen some business owners get close to being bankrupt themselves because they want to keep paying their staff. But obviously, if you go bankrupt, then it's over for you and your staff. So you're not doing anyone a favour there. You're better off trying to furlough as many as you can. And then furlough, by the way, for those who are not in the UK, is just the government pays normally about 80% of the salaries. So there are schemes and there are grants and there are loans. Right. The next category of people are what we're going to do what we normally do doesn't work very well in the current COVID environment, but there are other things that we could do that we can still keep going. And this is probably the vast majority of businesses, which is you just need to think a little bit differently about what you offer and what your skill sets are. So a lot of companies have done, like training companies, taking things online. A lot of retailers have got focusing on online shops. And there are still some major supermarket chains that were very slow to get their online up and running. There are, I think if I'm correct, I think Primark is a great example. Primark is a clothes retailer in the UK. And if I'm correct, they don't have a website, which I think is insane, because it's like, Primark will get loads of sales online because people have got less money, so they're probably more likely to shop down that end of things. But they've chosen, for whatever reason, it's too complicated maybe, they weren't in a position to pivot into that. So you hear this word pivot a lot, which is probably where I've spent most of my time as a business coach in the last few months, is what else could we do? Given what we've got a feeling there's something that would work, but what else could we do that work? And maybe not earning quite as much money as before. So, I mean, there's a lot of coaches that I work with are doing what else can we do? Like a lot of my clients don't have businesses, so I can't coach them anymore. Some of them said, I feel I should keep on paying you. And I went, well, what's that going to do to your business? And with some it is, yes, I've got enough savings to keep paying you so I can work out the strategies. With other people, it's like, no, do you know what? You actually just need to stop paying me, even though we've got a contract, because otherwise your business will go to the wall because you keep on paying people. So this is the important bit, which is being creative about, okay, so as a coach, can I create online programs? Can I do stuff on Zoom? Can I do group meetings on Zoom? Can I do group training on Zoom? Can I use platforms like Thinkific or Kajabi to create courses? Maybe I do have courses that are lower price and more accessible for clients. In my case, my one-to-one went to a higher level of client. I was like, right, let me take it up a notch. That's where having a coach is useful, because you can get more creative with what else could I do. And then the final category of customers, and this is where it's important to realize that, is there are massive, massive, massive opportunities if you're able to move into them, like, PPE providers, like face masks, gloves, coverings for people, making businesses COVID safe, screens, hand wash, soaps. I've seen like the vaccination stuff is all going around. Okay, well, do you know what? They need to be carried in something. So I at the start, I saw a lot of my friend's a doctor. They were making their own, like, carrying things for the little vaccine vials. So there would have been an opportunity there to create something there. So there are some businesses that are naturally positioned for that anyway, and they made a lot of money. And fair play, that's supply and demand. But they are constantly look for opportunities where you've got the skills, and ideally you're passionate, or maybe more accurate, it's more aligned with who you are as a person, where you think, hold on a minute, this way you need to rise above fear and panic. You need to rise up a level, going, what's really going on here for people? What do people need? People need vaccine carrying cases. Everyone needs face masks. And obviously people have pretty much filled the market now, but early on there would have been opportunities. And right now there are opportunities. Like, pubs will come back into full force. Are there things that pubs need that would make them COVID compliant that no one's thought of yet, or no one's really given? Could I buy up and get ready to buy up supplies and get ready to supply that to pubs, for example? How are training venues going to run training? Can I be approaching corporates, talking to them about a blended future for training where it's physical and online? So, and again, going back to that original question about how to become a millionaire, this is how people become millionaires, because they're constantly thinking about what do people need, how can I go and get it, how can I give it to them. The key is, don't be too scattered. Like, there are probably multiple opportunities. You've got to think about what's the one that's going to be ideally an ongoing and sustainable opportunity, and that I have some skills or contacts in that area. That's the one you want to go for. You don't want to get pulled into this idea that lasts a couple of weeks and that idea that lasts a couple of weeks and that one. It's like very, very tempting when your limbic or chimp brain is agitated and you want to make more money, it's very tempting to go scattergun, have lots of different little ideas. Like one of the things I always used to say when I used to present at internet marketing courses was, what would you rather have? 100 websites completed at 1% or one website completed at 100%? The first one's not going to make you any money. The second one will, or could. So don't go. Sometimes it's useful to have more than one idea because it can get stuck, but you don't necessarily want to do more than maybe 3. If you're really good at what you're doing, you might be able to do 5, but I generally recommend 3. 3 ideas that you're working on, because if one sort of gets blocked or stuck, or you're waiting on answers, you can carry on working on the other 2. But don't go too wide, because if you go too wide, someone else is going to be doing one of the ideas better than you for sure. Gosh, that was a long answer to a question, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And now I have one question which I believe the audience may be interested in getting right now is, and I wrote it down, is where does it go wrong with people when it comes to creating wealth? Where does it go wrong?
Great question, Moses. So there's a few answers, I think, to this as well. So I had the privilege of, fairly on in my speaking career, speaking at wealth creation events, but they were specifically internet marketing ones. So I spoke for 2 gentlemen called Brett McFall and Tom Bois, an event called World Internet Summit. And I was the mindset guy. I come to speak about mindset and how to build a business as opposed to trying to chase the latest Twitter idea or Facebook or webinars or whatever. So what I noticed with people who were chasing wealth and not being successful was a few things. So the first one was, I made a mistake at an event once, and someone put their hand up and said, could you give me an idea of how to make money online? Like someone could say, could you give me some ideas about how to be a millionaire? And my response was, ideas are a dime a dozen, it's how you do it. So if you want an idea, come and talk to me at the end. And I literally had about 50 people in a queue coming up and asking me for an idea. And here's the thing, right? And I've said it before in this talk, but I'll say it again. It's usually not the idea, unless you come up with something that is genuinely groundbreaking and world beating. Like, I mean, Tesla will be an example of that, right? Tesla were very early to the market with really high quality cars that ran on electric power. But there were other ones out there, just they were really good at positioning themselves in the market. So they got kind of like an early adopter, like an early primary colonizer advantage. But most people don't make money that way. Most people make money doing something that's already been done. So it proves there's a demand for it because there are people in the market supplying it. You just need to come in and do it better. And the biggest mistake I see people making when they do that is they try and do it cheaper. Mm-hmm. And it might be you can do it cheaper. It might be you found a way of doing it cheaper. Great. It is an easy sell. But you generally don't want to compete on price. Generally not a good idea. That's number one, is like, just think about how you are doing your business and let go of being the cheapest. Often you want to be, like, as a coach, I definitely do not want to be the cheapest. Like, there are clients I work with now, they would not work with me if I was cheaper than the price that I agreed with them, because they would mistrust or distrust my quality because I'm too cheap. So your cheapness might be driving customers away. If you are able to provide high quality, if you've got that natural standard within you, or you think you can develop it, or you've got a network of high quality, or you've got references in your family or your past or your friends of doing things at a high standard, go that route, because it's very, very hard for other people to compete with you. Okay. Another thing I saw very common, I actually developed quite a bit of content around it, was it's something that a guy called Ken Blanchard talked about, and it's this transition from being an enthusiastic beginner. So, like, if you're thinking about setting up a new business or a new way of making money, you're generally very excited and like upbeat about it, and then generally you're overly optimistic. So I see people coming to wealth creation events, hearing speakers going, "Gosh, they become a millionaire. I can do that too. Let me go and run to the back of the room and buy their $2,000 program." But what they're not anticipating is the next stage, which is sort of disillusioned learner, I normally call it, which is you get back home, you think, gosh, this is actually a little bit harder than I maybe remembered it from the speech. And most people go, well, even if you're building a business by yourself, it gets hard at some point. And most people go, it shouldn't be hard. I must be doing something wrong, or I'm wrong. I should stop doing this and I should go back and do something else new. So you just get this flicking back and forth between being an enthusiastic beginner, looking for the next magic button or magic bean or shiny pearl or whatever you want to call it. That's the one. I'm listening to, I go back to another event, I see someone else talk, I get very excited again, I buy that for $2,000, I go back home and it's difficult again, I give up. So I'm just going back and forth. So what you become actually is a really good at dabbling, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So you don't ever stick with anything. Like the reason that I've created, I'll be straight, right? So I'm millionaire at 30. I started a full-time coaching business in about 2014. I've been doing it part-time from when I started in Robin, 2006, 2014. Earning decent money, like over 100 quid plus, and not bad. Went full-time as a coach because that for me had meaning and purpose. I wanted to do it, and I would say, Moses, it took me 18 months to really get that business working. So, but I was aiming for a 6-figure business. In my case, I struggled like hell. I nearly gave up at least 2 or 3 times because it was hard. But the thing
it's hard.
It is hard, right? Just because it's hard doesn't mean you're on the wrong track.
Exactly.
You will know if you're on the right track. Now, that is another one mistake that people make, is they get too attached to one way of doing it. You and I have talked about this, Moses. Like, you know what? Whatever you do, it's smart to offer that into markets where people have wealth to pay that, and some are going to be easier than others, right? Even use like Bulgaria as an example, right? Bulgaria doesn't, as I understand it, doesn't have a lot of personal development provision right now, so there's not massive competition. But the wealth of the country is still coming up. So while you might have less competition, say in the UK, you might have less people in the country that can pay the prices that you want to charge. So it's just that awareness of that, and where's the right place to be at the right time. So people definitely get too attached to their product. They get too attached to their service. They forget to go back and check with the market. Do people still need this? Or am I just shouting about how great my product is and everyone's going, so I don't need that right now. People definitely dabble too much. They don't stick at things. And people think way too much. So by that, I mean, yes, it's smart to do your planning up front. So get a decent business plan in place. By the way, it's not a static thing. That's a dynamic and ongoing evolving thing. Think about who your competition is. Think about what you're great at. Think about what you're passionate about. Definitely find out what people need and find out what people would pay for it. And then once you're clear about what you want to do and you think it's a great idea, then you've got to just take as much frigging action as you can. I call it running experiments. How many cycles can you go through of just put something out there, advertise it, do webinars, do blogs, do videos, whatever it is, test it. You get a customer. Why did they buy it? Who else is out there that's like this customer? Great, we're getting some more. Okay, who else might buy this? Okay, how could we offer something slightly different that another group would buy it? So you test. And then the key then is to have time in your week. I call it thinking time. Again, this comes from my mentor, Keith Cunningham. Have time in your week where you do step out and think about your business. I did one on a Sunday, but you do whatever you want. Think about your business, reorientate, and then action in the week. Action. You do not want to be doing too much thinking during the week. You've got to get enough evidence, get enough feedback for you then to think about it and then decide what you want to do next. So most people, and I've done it as well, like, for example, I've been thinking about running an academy for speakers for about 3 or 4 years at least now. I was busy doing other things, but now I've got time and I'm going, right, now's the time. So, okay, so I'm going to do it. And I'm not entirely sure what it looks like, but I'm going to launch it and then evolve it. It's much easier to launch something and then tweak it and evolve it than trying to think it. You're never going to think it to perfection. You can ever evolve something by doing it to perfection. So that is a really common mistake. People aren't wealthy is overthinking early on, and overthinking, replacing action with thinking because they're scared they're going to do something wrong. And all you have to do is look out there, and quite frankly, people that you know are not as good as you, making lots of money, and you're getting annoyed about it because all they did was they took more action than you. Don't get me wrong, too much action without thinking, that's stupid as well. Like, you don't want to be a hamster on a wheel, like charging towards some nonsensical solution. But generally, most people listening to this video, you need to take more action than you currently are, and just try and condense your thinking into blocks where you're reviewing. That way, you'll start to create wealth. Oh, the other biggest one, of course, which I haven't maybe talked about too much at the moment, which is why your E2E thing. Actually, this is a good chance to talk about E2E. The reason that most people are not very wealthy is because your peer group sucks. You're hanging around people that don't have great references to wealth either. So the best thing you could do would be for you to start to become an example of how to be more wealthy, and actually showing them that money is not evil and that rich people are not swines or evil. And the way to do that is to hang around more wealthy people. So through me speaking on stage, I've got a really good speakers peer group. Through me doing Tony Robbins, which I left earlier on this year for Tony Robbins. I haven't talked about it too much, but that was an evolution of peer group because I wanted to do more my own thing, and that peer group wasn't one that I wanted to spend a lot of time with anymore. So actually, being very deliberate about how you choose your peer group is a big part of wealth. So, for example, one of my more recent clients is trying to raise funds for different projects. And one of the reasons that we started working together is because of my network. So I'm connecting to people that are worth tens of millions or hundreds of millions of pounds who could be investors for some of the things he wants to do. He's also, this new client is also an amazing, lovely guy who's really focused on contributing. In fact, his first word to me, and he's already very wealthy, his first word to me was, how can I contribute more? And that's a really good question for generating more wealth. How could I contribute more? But yeah, if you're trying to create wealth, as Topka's posted there, thank you for doing that, Topka. If your peer group does not have good wealth references, it's a bit like swimming uphill. It's one of the reasons that, I'm going to be dead straight, right? One of the reasons that I work with Moses, one of the reasons that I was really happy to come on this call with Moses is I was speaking at a Marcus Di Maria event. Marcus is a really nice guy that we both got into his environment. And I started speaking for Marcus because of my investment banking background, and also I could speak a bit as well. I learned a lot from him about speaking. Really good values, really nice guy. Investment Master is his company. Let's give him a plug. Really good company, good values. Anyway, Moses is in the audience, and I honestly I can't remember the last time. I'm not sure I ever have seen someone in the audience with better energy than Moses. Moses said, "I'm gonna work with you." And you worked in a restaurant at the time, didn't you?
Yeah.
And so here's another clue: if you want to be more wealthy, raise your energy, because that becomes magnetic. So I'm like looking at this guy going, "Hold on, you work in a restaurant, you want to work with me? How's that going to work?" Because and fair play at that time, you just found the money. We spoke once a month, I believe. Right, I'm going to do it. So there's another clue for wealth creation: commitment. I'm going to do this. I'm going to work with Rich. And then you shifted into doing commission-based sales, right? Became the record salesperson within 1 or 2 months, if I remember correctly. You can tell the story in a minute. Energy, commitment. I gave you a couple of pointers in terms of how to do it, but you found your own way of doing it. Energy and commitment. And we started working twice a month rather than once a month. And so you got to want it as well. You got to go, look, I'm not a massive fan of the whole. I love Gary Vaynerchuk. I think he's an amazing guy. I'm not a massive fan of hustle and grind. I'm more than happy to work hard, but I like to work smart as well. Gary Vaynerchuk talks about not seeing. One of his favorite sports is basketball. When he says he's not seen an NBA game, American professional basketball, he's not seen one for 6 months. See, I'd never do that because I'm like, me watching basketball, that feeds my soul. It would nourish me if that was my favorite sport. So I think for me, a balance of nourish yourself, feed yourself, get the sleep you need. If you want to be a member of the 4 a.m. club, getting up at that time in the morning because it's quieter and you can do more, you better make sure you're going to bed early enough to get your sleep in, because if you start to sleep deprive yourself, you're going to be screwed. I personally, actually, I'm the opposite. I work really late, so I'm up till midnight, 1 o'clock often, because that's when my brain starts working.
Exactly.
So I get up at like 8:39 sometimes, right? But I'm getting my sleep in. That's important, actually, understanding the rhythms of how, when you think best, when you work best, in terms of considering how you want to work. Because creating wealth, there is not one way, there is not one template that fits everyone. Like, some people are going to be great at property, some will be great at trading, some will be great at coaches and speakers, some will be great at products, some will be great at services. Do not believe anyone that tells you there is my way is the best, the one and only way to create wealth, because that is absolute nonsense. And that was the most politest way I could put that.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for what you're saying, because this is so vital. It's so important, because most of the times people think that it's so easy. I get one pill, one formula, and I apply it. You need to always drop this down if you'd like to. You need to always change approach. If something is not working, change approach. Make it suitable to yourself. Create your own wealth on your own terms. Okay, so what you said, Rich, of if somebody gives you this is my way, this is the true way, well, get away from that, because you need to build your own true way. And the best way is to try, test, adapt, shift, modulate, design it around you. Okay, now, Rich, obviously, time is running, and I want to keep my word with my audience and make sure that they have the right value, and we respect their time as we respect also your time. What we are doing right now is that every single Monday, we are going to have a special guest, okay? And by the way, Rich is an expert in creating wealth, okay? When I say an expert in creating wealth, okay, there's wealth which is financially, and he has just spoke about that. There's wealth which is emotionally, and he said that he was millionaire 30 years, 31 years he went through a massive divorce, and he lost some of it, and he had to rebuild back that level of wealth. And there's also wealth time wise, and he has just shared how he manages and schedules his time, when he goes to bed, when he goes to wake up. So when you talk about wealth, it's not only about money, because if it's about money, okay, you will end up being broke emotionally and in your social relationship and your social life. So what I'm going to tell you is this. The concept of expert to expert is basically Monday. It's open for everybody, and everybody can join, because we want to add massive value, more than anybody else. That's the innovation we're doing at Kaizen. Me and my team, we are committed to add massive, tremendous value to you. Okay? And then Thursday is going to be a closed group where we can just go on and intimately spend time with the guest speaker, ask questions, and have an intimate workshop, closed, session closed for only the members of this closed group. But I have a gift for you. February is the best month of the year. Guess why? Because it's my month. So because it's my month, I was born in February. For all the month of February, Thursdays are going to be available for each one of you, okay? And I have a gift. It's going to be my birthday in February, but my birthday, the gift is for you. What gift is for you? The team is going to put it right down. You have the chance to subscribe for the closed group at an amazing price value for what you will get. Okay, so right now there's a membership. If you subscribe in the month of February, okay, you will pay every single month only £17, And £17, what do you get? You get peer group, as Rich talked about. You get access to an expert where you can ask direct questions and he can help you and support you. And then the most important thing, you get implementation. You can implement what has been taught and what you have learned on Monday. Okay. After this, in March, the group will be closed. Okay. No more access on Thursdays, and the price will rise up significantly. So the team is putting the link for those of you who are on Facebook. The team is putting the link right now. Okay, so you can join in and subscribe, get in, take action now. And for those who are on LinkedIn or other platforms, as soon as the live is over, I'm going to put the link there so you can get more information. Now, Rich, on Thursday, you're going to be with us. It's going to be open for all of you, and you can ask questions to Rich. Okay, so Rich is going to go more in the details and is going to show you exactly his tailored formula that can help you to create financial wealth even in this time. Okay, deal? Done? Great. Now, Rich, before we close up, I want to ask you one more question. Okay,
Yeah.
because this is done on a formula of an interview. And before we go, I want just 2 minutes. I want you to tell us, because probably Thursday some people may join us or some people may not join us. Okay. By the way, if you like this E to E formula, expert to expert, it's gonna be every single week. You're gonna have an amazing expert in different areas. Share this video with your community, with your friends, and with your loved ones. Rich, closing up. What is the most important asset in creating wealth right now in this current moment of history? Just a quick answer right now.
Yeah. So the most important asset right now, which is why I think E2E is such a great idea and such great timing, is community and peer group, without a shadow of a doubt. It is the most important thing. And this is why on Thursday, I'm going to talk about what you need to think about in terms of understanding yourself better, but also how do you create communities? How do you go and look for communities? And that's why E2E so well timed, because you're getting high quality people, presenters with very high value. So let me be very clear. If you go through my Facebook page, you will see I do not promote many things. I'm promoting this because it's really well timed and really needed. And also I'm promoting this, helping Moses and Totka promote this because of who they are as people. So be around groups that are high value, that have high values and high morals. And Moses touched on it, which is then also a group that's going to help you to implement. So the biggest challenge, if you want to create change in life and create more wealth, you need to have really high quality information, but you also need help to implement it, because you're going to have to change some habits, change some patterns. And that is much, 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 much easier if you're part of a high quality community that are all moving in the same direction. So then you can all win. Everyone in E2E, everyone could win. Wouldn't it be great if everyone in E2E all became millionaires and all helped each other to become millionaires? And yeah, do you know what? There aren't many communities like that, but this could well be one, because I've never seen anything where there's so much focus on high quality, high values and implementation. So let's help each other to become wealthy. It's not like I win, you lose. It's like, let's all win. That's it.
All right. Thank you so much. Let me just remind the audience that on Thursday, wait just a second. On Thursday, we are going to be live with a Q&A with Rich. Thursday live Q&A.
And I'm just so you know, I'm going to be sharing 2 key tools, one of which is my identity matrix, which most of you will never have seen because it's mine, to help you understand how to create more wealth. And the second thing is I'm going to run through what I call Ikigai Plus, which again you won't have seen because I made it up. But 2 key tools to help you generate wealth, starting from Thursday. And then you can ask me questions about anything. So on Thursday, I'll answer as many questions as I can in the time. And if there are more questions that I can't answer in the time, I'll answer them afterwards. So you put a question in Thursday, I will answer it at some point.
All right. Amazing. And Rich, we are so glad to have had you as our guest of this show. and you are going to be one of the resident speakers in our show. And thank you so much for being with us right now in this journey. We really appreciate it, and also the audience appreciates it. And if you appreciate it, send some hearts to Rich right now. Thank you so much, Rich, for being with us. Your value, your integrity, and your knowledge are really appreciated. Thank you so much for the value. So we've got people right now saying thank you so much for the value.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for what you have shared. Thank you so much for the impact that you have brought in. And definitely, we are both of us on a mission, okay? Both of us, we're on a mission on making sure that people live the wealthy life, financially, emotionally, and time-wise, that they deserve. And surely, this is just the beginning of this journey. We are gonna have Rich more often as our guest and adding more value. Take advantage of the offer that we are giving you right now. Share this, bring in your people, your family, your friends, and be a force of good, exactly as Rich has been a force for good to impact, to add more value, and to help you. We have also Lucia saying thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for everything. And stay tuned. See you on Thursday, 7 p.m. Rich is gonna spend some time, gonna do a mini workshop, adding more value, showing you some of his strategies and tools to create financial wealth. And then he's gonna be available for you for any type of question, Q&A. Is gonna be there live for you. Thank you so much. Live strong. Love you. And have an amazing rest of your evening. Thank you, Rich.
Thank you, Moses. See you, everyone. See you Thursday. Bye for now.
Thursday. Bye-bye.